Hi, my name is Nikki. I'm the Obsessive Bookseller, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to review You Sexy Thing by Cat Rambo. Don't let the title scare you off. This is a new space opera from Tor. They are marketing this book as Farscape meets the Great British Bake Off because the main characters in this story are ex-military who escaped the hive mind by opening a restaurant. And I love me a good cooking competition. I'll watch anything I can get my hands on. So the cooking aspect for me is what made this one stand out from the rabble. The market is flooded with similar space opera stories, and I thought this one might be a little more interesting. Unfortunately, they are very much overselling the restaurant aspect of this story. It kind of plays a role in the whole thing. At least she carried some ideas from it throughout the entire narrative. But really, it only served as a basic setting at the beginning, and then from there we went off on a random tangent and never came back. So that was a bit of a letdown, so just so you know, they are definitely overplaying that in their advertising. But she set up such an interesting framework of this hive mind, and that these characters found a loophole to escape from it. But the entire plot has nothing to do with the hive mind and everything to do with one character's run-in with a bad guy from the past. In a sense, the novel focused on kind of a tangent to what I thought was the actual interesting thing about the storyline. Even further, it's not currently listed as the first in a series. Well, that might be all we get. Of all the compelling things they talk about in the overview, only a fraction of that actually made its way into the story. There's a problem with that. No strong cooking aspect, no focus on the hive mind, and basically you're left with a space opera plot structure that I've seen several times. So, all said and done, it was a pretty basic story, and I was just kind of meh about it. The only thing that helped differentiate it were the character constructs. This is obviously an author who delights in having a quirky, diverse crew. Kind of reminded me of Becky Chambers' Wayfarer series in that regard. And I liked that a lot of the side characters were non-humanoid beings with their own way of speaking, communicating, different cultures. And she did a pretty good job of infusing that. I originally picked this one up as an audio production review copy, and I'd like to add that Vivian Lehaney, the narrator, did an excellent job at taking all of these alien profiles and really elevating them. They had a lot of personality, and I think it's one of the main reasons why I didn't end up DNFing the book. Great fun character profiles. Also, there's an AI spaceship, and of all the characters, because I'm considering it a character, the ship had the most interesting character growth arc. And it was really fascinating to see how it changed its opinions based on what it observed the humans doing. I've read so many AI stories lately that this one felt like a little bit of a breath of fresh air, but at the same time, I think it was more my appreciation of where I think it could have developed further, because it really didn't get a lot of page time, but it is the one thing that I latched onto, so it's memorable for me. There were a couple things I liked about it, but truthfully, I wish I had more positive things to say. I think I've gotten a little grumpy when it comes to certain types of stories because I've consumed so many of them. My standards have slowly gotten higher and higher, and I feel like a bit of an urban fantasy and space opera snob at this point. Like, it has to be really spectacular for me to get excited about it. But I recognize that there was a point in my life where I just loved these type of stories, and I didn't care if they didn't have a lot of depth, if the characters weren't robust, if the plot wasn't expansive. I didn't care. I just liked it. It was a good fluffy snack in between heavier fantasy novels. And so if you're in the mood for something like that, this is actually a perfect pick. But these days, I am just craving that like deep, rich story. And I think my ratings of these lighter stories are suffering because of where I'm at personally. Overall, acknowledging that I'm being a little bit overcritical and taking into account its individual merit, and compared to all of the other ones I've read so far, this one comes in at a solid 3 stars. I liked it, I didn't love it. So as with everything, with a grain of salt, just because I didn't love this one doesn't mean you won't. If you absolutely loved Becky Chambers' work, you'll probably enjoy this one. Chambers has a more beautiful writing style and more character depth, but this one had more of a developed plot, so, you know, take your pick. So that seems a good segue. Other books you might like: the Wayfarer series. Similar type of story, quirky characters, whatnot. Cruel Stars by Birmingham, because the conflicts in each one were similar, only that one contained a lot of really poorly done profanity. Another similar one I've read, probably the most comparable, is Velocity Weapon by O'Keefe. Similar characters, similar AI intelligence perspective, only that story was a lot more robust and interesting. Perdition by Anna Guire, my personal favorite lighthearted space opera trilogy. Stardock by S.L. Veal, for the awesome alien creation, similar main character, and that element of quirk. And even though I just admitted I'm really grumpy towards stories like this, I still have a few on my TBR that I want to read because I'm hoping that one will dazzle me. And so a comparable title that I have not yet read, but I'm confident it's in the same vein, is Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe by Alex White. Thank you so much for joining me on this review, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye.